What do you got, Hellboy?
I'm trying to find him. I don't know his name. Maybe you guys would. I remember when I kind of got back onto the wagon, I guess, which is Islam. I don't know. There was an older Texas, I would say Texas preacher, imam. He was a white convert. I don't know what his name was.
Shoaib Webb?
Is that it? I'm gonna look.
Yeah, look him up.
Yeah.
Shoaib Webb.
Here, keep telling the story. I'll look for it.
No, I remember. I literally was like, I remember Googling like Islam for Beginners podcast, and like his name popped up, and immediately it was just like it was a white dude with a beard. I want to say he's older. It's that guy. Yeah, that guy at the bottom.
Yusuf Estes.
Yes, that one.
Or Estes.
Let me see.
That guy.
Yes, dang, that's a beard. That guy looks like a Quaker.
I remember I'm trying to get back into it. I'm like, it's been a while since I did like, Rahma school. I don't remember much of it. I'm like, Islam for Beginners. And it popped up. It's just some older white dude with a beard. And he's like, I used to be a Christian, but now I'm a Muslim. I'm like, you know what? This will be my way in. I just slowly got into him. And I got like darker and with like more Arab and more hardcore with my stuff. And I'm like, you know what?
He literally got darker in like complection of imams he would listen to.
And then I'm like, you know what? I'll go back to light skin. I like this guy. This guy was light. I remember him. I don't know. I have to look him up again, but I very fondly, if I ever meet him, I'm gonna high five him. I'm like, alhamdulillah, brother.
He looks like he had like a functional farm.
Oh yeah.
He like raises animals.
This guy, like the way he describes himself, is just a Texan dude who just loves Islam.
He used to be a preacher.
Yes.
He used to be a preacher.
And I love the crossover. It's just great. It's my favorite. Whenever when they get up and it's like we're drafting one on our team, it's just like
I thought you were making a pun with crossover. I'm like, oh, crossover, good one.
Yeah. See,
from
you know
Christian
what?
To Islam cross. All right, I'll be back. I'll talk to you later, guys.
Like I said before, save it for the stage. Okay?
Yeah, I know, man.
Greatest religious crossover in the GTA is probably the mosque, the Jami Mosque in downtown Toronto.
Explain.
It used to be a church.
Oh,
yeah, it used to be a church. I was a tour guide there.
Get out
for Toronto, Open Door Toronto.
Oh, nice.
And so all of these like cool buildings and like things that have like religious or any type of like significance of for the community, you open the doors. So then I would just be there and I would greet mostly very nice middle-aged white people.
We just want to see what all the fuss is about. Just wandering.
And then I'll walk them through the mosque, tell them about like, it used to be a church, here it is. And, back in 1967 or something like that, like way back in the day, right. the roof is still like the original beautiful church roof.
It's the Blue Mosque. Yeah. If you ever go to the Blue Mosque in Turkey, it used to be like a huge church. And they've peeled off some of the paint layers, and there's like, it's all Christian stuff. Super cool. Yeah. Super cool.
I remember sitting in the pews because they took all the pews and they put up on like the second level, and so it was just pews piled on each other in like haphazard way. But that's where you would count the money after the donations, right? So you would go into that room, there would be like a small little table, and they would just dump all the money out, and you would just count them. I would just sit on those pews and I would count money.
That's so
I love it.
When I was a kid, that was back in the day.
It's more comfortable. I think these guys have a great thing with the kneeling on the pews. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So that was fun.
That so much.
I used to go to a Baptist church when I was younger in Texas, because a Baptist church is all black, right? That's how they are in Texas. They're all black. You didn't know that?
No.
Dude, those are the most fun, because I've been to like Lutheran churches. You're like, Sad, where are you going to churches? I don't know.
Yeah.
They're around and
my
they
mom
have
wants
free
to go
food.
to when they moved to this Toronto, they were living in a house that was close to a black church. And every Sunday it would just be like clapping and singing and whatnot. I was like, she really wanted to go.
Like a Lutheran church is going to be like, and then a Baptist church is going to be like, hallelujah. And they're like slippers are on their heads and they're jumping around.
Shit.
There's a basketball game afterwards.
Yeah.
My grandmother was Coptic, so we used to go to like a Greek Orthodox church, and it was very ceremonial. All right, it was the closest to an imam in a masjid was Greek Orthodox. I had the same full black cloaks with the smoke. I'm like this. No one sang. Everyone was sour-faced,
right,
and just really angry about
like we did something wrong, didn't we? I think we did.
You said he had the smoke, and for a minute there, I didn't realize it's that swinging through smoke. It was like, what? Who is he fighting?
What's he packing?
Who wants the smoke?
I love it so much.
They were so religious. They would like protest Harry Potter movies and stuff because witches and stuff.
No.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they wouldn't let you play like even certain games that were too fantastic, they wouldn't allow it.
Okay, so
Muslims were doing this all the time. I couldn't watch Simpsons because of like khutbas.
that being said, my mom is old school. She just used that. She's like, I think I heard an imam say, "No Family Guy," and I was just like, I'm like, okay, why would I can't question her? But I'm no joke. I'm trying to like sneak in like Muslim any chance I get.
What's that mean?
Well, no, okay,
Please explain.
It's an organic in. Like, I think I've mentioned to you guys on both separately. You guys have brought it up. But I mentioned to you guys. I play D&D. I play Dungeons and Dragons. For those who don't know, it's a role playing fantasy game. You can either play with dice and little figurines, but it's mostly in your imagination.
Please do explain it because people actually don't know.
We don't know.
Okay, all right. So Dungeons and Dragons. Okay,
I'm so excited. This guy's locking in.
On.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, this is okay. So Dungeons and Dragons is a fantasy inspired game that's basically or technically a board game. They usually, the dungeon master, this is the person who comes up with a brand new story in which the players are going to be actively participating in, will literally sometimes make a physical map on the ground, and then you'll play little figurines and you'll get to understand, like, we have a map for this area. We want to travel this many spaces to different many areas. Otherwise, low key, most of the way that people play now is the analog version, which is you just have your character sheet, which lists your technical abilities, how good at you are surviving, how good at you are being insightful, how good at you deceiving other people, what is your strength and your weaknesses, and you basically just imagine in your own head the situation that's happening while the dungeon master, like the general, if you will, director, kind of casually sets up the scene, and you, the players who are, you have these character sheets, these people that you've put thought into in terms of creating these characters. You're basically actors in a movie. Ooh. You kind of stumble into the story, but you can do whatever you want. So right now, for example, I am creating an entirely fictitious world based on a compilation of different medieval eras. There's like the Ottoman Empire, there's the Scottish Empire, there's the Ming Dynasty. I'm making one, let's say, central continent where all potentially these 4 or 5 ongoing conflicts or stories can be in. And my characters, I'm just going to arbitrarily just drop them in the middle. You're in a hotel in the exact middle of the world. You guys just decide what you want to do. And I have an idea. I basically have 4 stories. If they make any decision, which they can do, and it's based on the influence of dice. Ooh. Anything you want to do, how good you are, how bad you are, it's always dice-based. It's a D20. It's a 20-sided dice. 20 is the best, 1's the worst. And it's a whole spectrum in between. And let's say Yasin is playing, let's say, an elf barbarian, and Syed's playing a gnome wizard. Okay. You guys can choose to team up, be enemies. Oh, you're intrigued by, I'll say, like, in the corner of the bar, there's a cloaked man with a gold fang tooth, and he drinks like a tall glass of water, which is more expensive than any ale in the bar. That intrigues you. You guys go. There's
that is
a story.
Intriguing.
If there's just like, there's a young woman crying in the corner, and her friends are consoling her, she keeps saying something about a banshee. That can kind of be like a thought of what you guys want to do or where to go. And then you guys can go from it. And then it's a lot of improvising on my part. Like sometimes, like, my favorite thing is when people just go off the rails and do whatever they want. The best story I ever heard was, D&D green text. See these stories on Reddit. The 2 best ones ever were one where a DM was like, I'll let the guys choose whatever they wanted. And they all picked Bard. Bard is basically a musician. You get an instrument, whatever you want. And it's like somebody basically played a guitar, keyboards, drum, and vocals, and they collectively became a boy band and became like the biggest band in the world. Like, bards are charismatic, they're meant to be performers, so they just became like the Rolling Stones or Imagine Dragons of the world. And then like they're just like, yeah, but there's like a princess, like, well, we have like 10,000 people coming to watch our concert, we need to prepare. So you have to kind of come with the whole, and I
also like that you went with Imagine Dragons in the Dungeon and Dragon game.
Playing the audience. And then like another one in Star Wars was because the Star Wars D&D, there's literally
a Star Wars.
That's so cool.
So when I got into it, it's mind blowing. You get to play whatever you want. This person spent this is the thing about a DM. You'll make a million stories, and something could happen, and you just have to improvise or mismatch. He had this whole thing where they were Jedis, and they were gonna retake the galaxy back from the Sith, who would come back, and they were, the Wookiees were on rebellion, and there were the Mandalorian warriors, and they all just stayed on Tatooine and became the most well-paid. They created a moisture farming company. Okay, they basically became the Monsanto of Tatooine and controlled all the water and became like a galactic corporation, and then just took over by being like. And they would have like board meetings where they would just be like, let's sacrifice. And this DM's just like, they're like, you have lightsabers. Why are you? And they're just like four nerds screaming at each other about dividends and like stock options and like a board of directors breathing out our neck. And like, so it's literally imagine based. And like, there's the whole idea is you want to pick different. There's classes and races. There's like orcs, from Lord of the Rings. There's elves, there's humans, there's dwarfs, there's gnomes, and you can play different classes. There are clerics, which are like priests, basically. There are wizards. There's a sorcerer. So like, maybe you got struck by lightning and now you just have wild magic. Or you're a barbarian, which a lot of people love to do. You just get an axe and like attack people. And like when I play, I've been playing one for a while now. It's been on hiatus, which is a problem with D&D, kind of getting a bunch of people together. But I play a human Tempest cleric. I play a human a priest, and his name is Hamza. And
of course, nice.
And he prays to his God 5 times a day, and he's
the man you wish you.
And he he fasts, and he prays, and he makes a prayer for like special decisions. He kind of talks to his God, and he has lightning powers.
So much more right now.
He has lightning powers, and so like I used to play this for a while, and then my buddy Jay, who's the DM, like I would, and he's just like, listen, I have to like make a special prayer to my God Oma, and he's in the corner, and he loves me. You play in character, it's always much more fun because otherwise it's just 4 weirdos, just awkwardly being like, I guess I attack him with a thing, and he's just like, are you? I figured out what you're playing. I'm like, what am I playing? He's like, you're playing Muslim Thor. Like, you're 100%. I'm like, yes, that's literally it the entire time.
Can you imagine this is the best way for you to convert nerds into Islam?
Buddy. And they're just he's always lawful good, and he follows his little book, and he wants to make a pilgrimage to this black rock in the desert. Like, it's great,
donating 2.5% of his stones.
Every village. Oh my God, he's opened up. So my whole thing is, I slowly have been, every time we go somewhere, because you're a priest, you have like healing abilities. Like your God gives you the ability, to make food or help the sick or something. So everywhere I go, I do a bunch of miracles, and I say it's because of the one true God, and everyone's and then Jay's just like, you roll a 17 in charisma, they all convert. I'm like, yeah! So I'm slowly just this caliphate I'm building in this D&D world. It's amazing. And like, I try to be as good a person as I can. Yeah. And that's like my character struggle, because the world is bleak that you can make. You can make it a fun, bubbly world. You can make it scary or dark. Right. And so like in his world, it's just Viking era with vampires everywhere. There's just demons killing and murdering. So I have to save everybody. And like, I have to be so good all the time, and it's such a struggle because I'm like, I could murder everyone in this room right now, steal all their gold, and no one would know. But I'm like, but my God would. So I have to be like good. I have to convince him not to kill everybody. It's a big struggle every time. It's great.
I like that. I like how you're living out your piety through your avatar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like this guy's going to Jannah.
This is for sure haram in like 8 different ways. But like this is how I'm like, you know what? What would Hamza do in this situation? I'm like, hey, you should get up, play fight.
Any port in the storm.
How long does it take to play? Because it seems like it just keeps going on.
Listen, this is. Like, there are campaigns that people have been playing for 30 years.
Whoa. You don't die?
Sorry? Oh,
you might die in real life
all the time.
We lost Jason.
And he got married. He's never coming back again. Yeah. That's a thing people do. They are like, there are some DMs, dungeon masters, who don't want, like you put a lot of time and you're invested in your character. Like, things happen. If you're a good DM, you get a backstory from your friends where they start off like, he was left on the streets and he's a scrappy dude, and he was like, the Oliver Twist story. Mm-hmm. And if I'm good as a dungeon master, if I get that backstory, I'll incorporate aspects of their life. And it's just like, you go back to your hometown, it's all gentrified, there are like coffee places all over the place, and you walk back to this old alley that you used to live in, and it's not the same anymore. And then you turn the corner, and staring at you is the 40-year-old version of your best friend, and everyone goes, and everyone freaks out. They're like, "Oh my God, it's happening!" So it's literally.
Does the DM get paid?
Not at all. This is all just for fun. Like, I love creating worlds more. I like writing more.
You're a DM as well.
I'm a DM as well as a player.
Okay.
But like, I like playing, and playing is so much fun. But I also I play with a DM who's gonna kill your character. Like, that's a big thing in Dungeons and Masters. When you kill Dungeons and Dragons, once you kill your DM kills your character, like, You're done. Like your guy died. So you have to start a brand new one, probably from scratch, so like a level 1 and work your way all up again. And it's very time consuming. It's like, 4 or 5 sweaty nerds in the basement eating Doritos, just stinking up the place. And like you're in there for hours. It becomes, imagine your dad being able to play Lord of the Rings. That's how into it people become. And then you die and you're like, fuck it, I'm not playing anymore. I've had people not come back because their character died. They're like, I don't want to do this all, kind of, you get emotionally invested.
Right.
It's like having your dog die, people.
I'll rage quit Mafia if they find me, right? So like
funny.
Dungeons and Dragons, that's...
And listen, it is a commitment. I play like 7-hour sessions. We see each other like maybe once every 3 months. It's a whole to-do kind of a thing.
That sounds fun though.
It is. It's the most fun if you can get on board. A lot of people are really uncomfortable with like kind of letting their guard down because like, I love it when people play into character. Like when people play dwarves and do the Scottish accent, when people play evil and like backstab their friends, I'm like, you're in it. Like if I'm giving you the story and you as a character aren't being passive, you're making moves and doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time we were playing Star Wars and our DM is like evil. He's at any point you could die. It's the real life.
Like
it's
George R.R. Martin.
Oh my God. It is the red wedding every day. Okay. And I remember we had spent maybe 2 years. We were playing almost every other week for 2 years. And this is like a weird thing where you bond over, like, you're not even yourself, you're these characters. I remember this one dude, we're all Jedi, okay? We have lightsabers. We're space wizards. We have all the control in the world. And this guy puts his laser sword away and pulls out a gun to fight 3 dudes who have blaster rifles, okay? If you're a person watching a Star Wars movie and the lead Jedi puts away his sword and pulls out a pistol to fight 4 pig monsters with like machine guns, you're gonna scream. And like we all yelled at him like, what are you doing? He's like, I got this. And he shot. And once again, people always assume their decisions are going to work, but it's all dice based. Every move you make, just waking up we got poisoned one time because we ate food that was given to us. We were starving. It was like 2 weeks in the mountains. We had nothing. We found some old lady on a hill. She's like, I got some soup, and we ate like 4 bowls each. And our guy was like, do a Constitution saving roll. It's like Constitution is like for your physical stamina. It's like, why? He's like, you just ate strange food from a weird lady in the middle of a forest that you've died 4 times in. And we all got like 5s, and we all just died. And we all died eating mushroom soup. Okay, do you know how frustrating that is? And we have this dude, this guy's been playing it for 2 years, every other week, every Sunday for like 6 or 7 hours, okay? We're best friends, we're bonding. He pulls out a gun, he shoots, he rolls a 1. That is an automatic 0. Not only did it not work, his gun basically just fell apart. And these guys all rolled like 15 pluses, like 20s, every in a row. And he just stood there as a character. And you get shot, and you're like, you lose 20 health points. You get shot again, lose another 100 health points. You shot, you're dead. And do you ever see that meme where the guy flips the table during a Christmas dinner because his dad's yelling at him, and he flips like 4 tables of just all this beautiful food his mom and his aunts have made for hours? This guy flipped the table, the laptop goes flying, our dice go flying. He has a 20-minute rage fit, screaming, because it's been building up to this beautiful moment where he was going to save us all, and he just got murdered, and he left. He didn't come back. He didn't play D&D with us. We didn't do comedy with him for a couple of while. He got so angry that he literally removed himself from the friend group, and then became friends again. But it was never the same. And he never played D&D again. Like,
and your friends never bring it up either.
We bring it up each other all the time, but never to him.
Yeah.
I'm willing to play a game that is taken that seriously by somebody.
Yeah, I mean,
yo, listen.
Because he's going to fuck with everyone.
Oh, 100%. But also, I'm going to have your character, like, just have to deal with crumbs and droplets all the time. I'm going to use all this real life shit and, like, ruin your lives in real life. It's amazing.
That's how...
Where's the Swiffer?
That's how Hisham...
I rolled a 3. Where's the Swiffer?
That's how Hisham, like, makes you realize your flaws individually.
It's a glass shatter moment. You're this gnome wizard that it's like every good version of you is just doused in crumbs, buddy. It'll be so good.
He's going to make me just stay quiet and say it doesn't talk. Like,
he cast a silence spell for the next 2 weeks.
I'm like, I am leaving.
But yeah, it's a very time consuming. It's a lot of fun.
How did you get into this as a person of color?
Honestly, this is no joke. Like my fantasy is just like existing. That's literally my day. I I used to love the idea of it because I'm a fantasy guy, I'm a sci-fi guy.
Right.
But it was actually a podcast that brought me on it. I don't know if you guys know who Dan Harmon is, the creator of
course.
Community.
Yes.
He has a podcast called Harmontown, and in it, because I love the TV show, I became obsessed with him. When he started his podcast in LA, he used to be a big D&D guy when he was little. Back in the 60s and 70s, when they thought it was like occult stuff, where like Satanists in the basements talking about wizards and shit, and like demons and stuff. He tried to like start it up again because he's like, you know what, it's something I wanted to do. I want to get back into it. And just in the audience, he's like, is there a dungeon master? And just some like nerd dude named Spencer got up and it's like, hey, it's I'm a DM. He's like, do you have dice? He's like, always. And he pulls out a bag of dice, and they literally play an impromptu game of D&D. And I loved how it sounded. I'm like, it's everything I've always wanted to do. Like, I always, fantasize. I'm like, what would it be like to live in this, fantasy world kind of a thing? And then you had an opportunity to do it. So I had a friend, comedian, Jay Freeborn, who was also a D&D dude, and he knew of my love for it through the podcast. And he asked me to partake in it. I said, sure. And he said, it's actually going to be a Star Wars D&D, which is called Star Wars Saga. And that was the campaign I talked about. It was 2 years. It ended beautifully. It was, I had always had a bad streak. I like playing bad guys. I like living vicariously my villainous, tendencies through a character in a world that there are no consequence other than maybe a broken friendship. But I ended up, betraying my friends, going full evil. I became a Sith Lord. I married a Sith Queen. I betrayed all my friends, and it's just all four of us fighting each other as a space station descends into a sun. And Jay has like an actual like counter, like on his TV, he put a timer down. He's like, the space station's about to explode in 5 minutes. He put like a little thing where it's like actually a video of like a space station falling into a sun. Like,
wow.
As a DM, you put, and he has like operatic Russian like a 50-man screaming in the back as we play it, and then I killed everyone. Technically I won, but the space station also fell into the sun and I died. So technically we all lost.
But that's like a believable ending to
100%. And it was amazing. And we didn't even tell that dude who bailed. We're like, you know what, fuck him. His character never came back. He had a ghost that ended up also getting murdered again just to be funny. It was more for us.
That's awesome.
More
for us.
Bring him back just
I
to
got
kill
into
him again.
like D&D and stuff, and I'm actually starting a campaign with some friends in a couple of weeks. And
that's freaking...
it's the most fun for me just because I like making you squirm. I like making things difficult for people, and having somebody, because man, that player's handbook is thick. All right, there are so many rules. So if you're invested, you're in it, and just to watch someone like build this baby from like this character from nothing into something, and then me just taking it away from them. Oh, it's so good. And my thing is, I'm evil. I tack the sheets of all the dead characters that my friends have lost on my wall. I have like 4 on my murder wall.
Hilarious.
Okay, so I don't understand how this falls into place of like your character that apparently does good, prays 5 times a day.
When I play good. That was I play
you're
evil all the
evil
time.
DM.
I'm an evil DM, of course. All DMs are evil. That's how we roll. We want you guys to suffer. That's the whole point.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be fun.
Yeah. Everyone gets $1 million gold and all the problems are solved. I'm like, no, you lost a leg. Good luck. But like for the first time, I tried to play good, and it's been difficult, guys. It's hard. He's getting good points, but it's very hard.
I'm intrigued. I'm more than intrigued. It seems very interesting.
I'm just more impressed on the level of commitment of the DM, because like the DM is bringing sound
so
like soundtracks and things like that.
That's really literally cool. Your whole point. As a DM, you have to be prepared for anything.
You need to be 100% committed to that.
It's also your story. Realistically, the DM is the person who's in charge of the campaign. The campaign is the whole thing, but like there's many stories you could do. Each village is a brand new storyline. Right. This is for me. Like when I play D&D, I love I pick people I want to play with. I want to pick people who will play well with one another, and people who will commit. And then I get to create the story that you guys just have to just suffer and deal with. And like for me, everything's a trap. Like because maybe one of the things like I love about especially Game of Thrones. Like Khal Drogo, this big, thick, horse riding, like murderous barbarian, got felled by a scratch, okay? To be all badass, he cut himself. He's like, I'm a badass. And like he rolled bad on his constitution, okay? That was a rusty knife, all right? He got like a 1 and he died of an infection.
Yeah.
And that's never in anything. Nothing that we watch has that kind of like realism. And like, man, like, having you spend so much time and effort reading the rules, coming up with every trick to kind of outsmart me, and then you accidentally eat a leaf you think is edible because you rolled like shit, and then you just have diarrhea and die? Yo, that's my day. That's what I've been building up. I have 15 deaths that I try. And don't get me wrong, if you can convince me otherwise, I love being out DM'd, But man, I make it difficult for everybody.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, right? That's the way that's the worthy story. The worthy story is overcoming
everything.
things. So like, yeah.
Oh,
Seems like you enjoy this, my friend. It seems like this is a problem.
It's a great pastime. It's a fun way to hang out with friends, and like I love it because like I like incorporating real life things. So like if you've been annoying me about something, it's going to be brought up in the D&D world 100%. Like you're gonna get, it's like, oh yeah, for the 5th time you've interrupted the mayor of the town with an incorrect fact. You just said with confidence. So how about you have to roll for initiative? You're all in a fight now because he hurt his feelings. You hurt his feelings. Your charisma roll was shit. He's gonna fight you now. And there's like 15 people you have to deal with.
That's great. It's multiple outlets and specifically that one. And my big thing is that it's people who use like a word wrong. So like if it's a complicated word and they use it wrong, I can't shut up. I can't shut up. I've been uninvited.
Oh my God.
I've been uninvited to an entire crew because of me calling out one guy remember Aladdin?
Yes.
The shisha place?
Yes.
There's 7 people at the table. This guy uses the word wrong. He wasn't even talking to me. I was so outside of this conversation that
why?
it was a booth. It's a U booth.
Oh
like
my
you usually
God.
booth, right?
Please don't tell me.
Like, listen. I'm not even standing. I'm not even sitting in the booth. I came so late that I have to sit on a chair on the outside of the table.
You're not even part of the group, man.
No, man. Just some dude rolled in, started talking shit to this boy.
This guy uses the word wrong. And it wasn't his first word that he used wrong. This is his second one. So I'm like,
this is Yasin letting you know he's a lenient God. Like,
Someone
merciful.
got triggered.
I'm like, oh, this guy's a habitual like a line stepper. Like he just constantly uses words wrong.
Yeah.
I can't handle that. Right? So I'm like, wait, no, hold on. Went on in front of his friends. Never invited again. And you know what? For me, it was like totally worth it. That guy needs to understand.
You
He's used
must
the
have
word
been such a teacher's pet. Oh my God.
No, I was not good at school.
No? Oh, just annoying in real life. Okay. not even proper. No education, nothing. First the crumbs thing, and now this. You're killing me. You're killing me, man.
I'm giving you interesting things for the D&D thing.
I would make it that like the love of your life in the game would just use words wrong all the time. Like she's your soulmate. You've spent 1,000 years looking for her, and she keeps saying explicitly, like she can't even say it properly.
She's trying to axe you things.
Oh my God. Actually.
You were under like a magical spell that would make you unsee these things before you guys got hitched. And then once you're committed to like a vow.
More off.
Yeah, 1,000-year vow of being together.
Oh my God. Supposedly. No, it's supposedly.
Yeah.
It's not, mispronunciations don't get me. It's using
give it a second. Wait until it's your wife. Let's do this.
Oh boy.
Let's play these.
You know what's
Dungeons
also
and
interesting is that when I was reading, this is a cool another imagination centered outlet for me was when I was reading Harry Potter. Huge fan of Harry Potter. For me to feel like I was part of the story,
yes,
I would make in my head my own character.
Yes,
that would fit into their story.
Yeah, okay, no,
which was so fun.
What is your house? If you being honest right now in front of everyone, in front of Allah and everyone, okay, all listeners, what house?
No, but like my character never made it through school. But basically, this is it.
Whoa, I want to know the story.
There were too many spills in potions class. He just ended up cleaning them all.
How did that happen?
All right, so this is what happened, right? I was like rough place. I grew up on the streets, right?
By the way, are you in England at this point? Like, are you like a chav living in Sussex?
Right. And then, the going was hard for me, right? But definitely could fight. Mm-hmm. Definitely could fight. And maybe a slight evil streak.
Nice.
Right? But the thing is that Dumbledore, when he was doing some type of mission or whatnot, came across me
Wow.
And then he lifted me up out of that, right? So he brings me back to the castle, and then I grew up in the castle, but never really take any courses. I take everything that I learned specifically from Dumbledore himself. The thing is that evil streak is not one that will go away. You need to channel it, a la Dexter. So what happens is that as I grow, I have like one particular power, and then which is very simple. It's either like a force field,
Nice.
right, and or launching like blasts. Right,
Okay,
like
okay.
energy
More
blast.
serial
That's it.
killery.
That's it.
Okay,
That's
I
it.
like
That's
it.
it.
I like it. I like it.
And Dumbledore realizes that the only way for him to be able to save my soul is allow me to do some level of evil. So I essentially become his, like, I essentially do wet work for him.
Oh my God!
So I'm
You're
the guy.
Dumbledore's fixer.
Yeah,
you're
I'm
like,
Dumbledore's fixer.
I need this to
You're
disappear.
the
Dumbledore's
transporter of the Harry Potter world.
Exactly. So basically, I've imagined myself even walking past the, Harry, Hermione, and Ron. And,
It's like, bro,
and then,
who's that brown kid who never blinks anymore? Like, what happened to him?
right? And then as they're walking by, they think that they've solved something, but really I just off 3 people.
Yo,
That's the
you
reason
are
why they're
ruthless.
their
This is the real
story.
guy
Yeah.
who killed Voldemort, 100%.
Straight up.
Yo, for sure you're a Slytherin. There's no way. You just said you're an assassin, Dumbledore's assassin.
No, man.
You're
This
straight
guy,
up a Slytherin.
This guy's homeschooled by Dumbledore. That's what's happening here.
But it's
Into the shape of an assassin.
100%. It's
Yeah.
like a weird whole Michael Jackson thing, for sure.
And as a result of him allowing me to do that, I always stay faithful to Dumbledore.
See, the house he belongs to is not Rowena Ravenclaw's. It's Albus Dumbledore's house. Ooh.
This is the best fanfic I've ever heard. Just becoming Dumbledore's fixer. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
That's the only reason why Dumbledore also can stay always positive, always do the right thing. Because when he has to do the wrong thing, he's not actually doing it.
It's you.
See, we have the exact opposite Harry Potter fantasy. Yours is so like detailed with like trauma and growth and like there's a chance for this guy to redeem. I am exactly me in Harry Potter, okay? I'm 14. I'm
Telling
a
jokes?
Hufflepuff. I just in
You're
the
a
corner,
Hufflepuff?
100%.
Who picks Hufflepuff?
And I am getting high in the common room and then just sneaking into and just hanging out with the elves who just give me food all the time. That's literally it. And I'm just in the corner smoking Harry Potter weed.
You haven't evolved past that.
No, just me chilling. I'm a grade 8 student. I'm learning
Snape.
everything. My mom's super proud of me. And I just watch Harry, Hermione, and Ron in the distance do everything. And I'm one of the students who's like, fucking exams canceled again, fuck it. And then just starts smoking like that Hogwarts kush, bud.
Dude, Snape is like, who's smoking all the gilly weed? Damn, that.
It's blaming Harry. It's like, Harry, you took it again. He's like, no, it wasn't me for once. It's me high in the back. And like, it's great because I can just make water with my wand the entire
Right.
time. I just become a really good chef in the future. That's it.
Right, refilling bong water.
That's it. That's
nice.
it.
I can see that happening.
If we can do a D&D with like Harry Potter,
yo, I will break
coming
your
over.
lives, okay? You will all get Avada Kedavra so quick.
You seen Potted Potter? Or
No.
heard of it?
I think, is that the musical one they do?
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was about pot and Harry Potter. Very disappointed the whole time because it has nothing to
Is it
do
about
with
What does
pot.
potted have to do with it?
yeah, what is potted?
I
plants?
just thought there was like, I have no idea what the pot part does, but I thought it was.
This is the difference between the two of us. He said potted Harry Potter or whatever.
Yeah, potted Potter.
I was like, how do they do potted plants in this place?
I assumed
And-
everyone got high into Harry Potter.
That's what
I'm like,
I
that's
thought.
my jam.
I thought it would be like, all right, started off, all 3 of these, wizards got
Because
high,
you know
and then you
the
go
weed
from there.
in Harry Potter world would be insane.
That's true.
Are you kidding me?
I can't even imagine.
That's that next level. Like, oh yeah, you're just schizophrenic forever now. That's it. That's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You just tried the strongest weed ever.
Man.
Yeah, I wouldn't even need that. I would just go into other people's pensives. Pensives? Was it that? Yeah.
Just see their
And just
memories.
look at their memories. Yo,
because
do
I
my own.
always like we already spoke about this last time we had this podcast about watching movies that are messed up.
Yeah.
Those pensives are those are the thoughts they
Yo,
don't want in
all
their
the
heads.
traumatic stuff. I'm
And
fine.
I'm just sitting there like with
just sifting
eating
through.
just putting them in my head.
Yo, Dobby, can you give me a little chicken wing? And he's just chilling while he watches. That's fucked up. That's actually messed. I'm disgusted. I have to leave right now. Someone called my mom. I miss her so much.
Oh boy.
But for sure, Slytherin for sure because you're evil.
Yeah.
I'm a Hufflepuff because like I'm black and I'm Muslim. I don't want to be a hero. I'm gonna get shot. Okay.
You know what?
Fuck
That's
that
a
shit.
really good point.
And
And you're a
live.
creative.
And Ravenclaw's great, but I'm like, I'm not an academic nerd. And I'm like,
Right.
I'm just a nice, good dude who will do the right thing if it's good. And I just want to chill out and,
Yeah.
be a good guy. I'm like, that's Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuffs live.
They
Except
live.
for Cedric. He got murked.
Well,
He
Cedric.
got murked the most.
Yeah.
But, don't be in a freaking maze.
100%. Who
Wrong place, wrong time.
chooses a maze on purpose? Like, first of all, fuck Harry Potter. Harry is the reason anyone died in that movie
That's true.
throughout. If he had just stayed and been a good student and caused no problems, no.
No,
Poor
then it would have
Cedric.
been.
R.I.P. said,
It would have been
Longbottom.
Longbottom.
I don't know if that was just something that they alluded to or if that was a direct,
No, it was either him or Harry Potter.
we're going to be it.
Yep, they were going to be the chosen one.
One of them would have been.
Yeah, Voldemort chooses Harry by casting that spell on him.
I think Longbottom would have been a whole different person though then. But then his parents were tortured to death. Like he could have become.
He could have been.
He could have
yeah.
become.
He could have been evil. He did not. He chose to be good.
He just got raised by his grandmother instead of like aunts and uncles that hated him.
Like a hard ass grandma. But that guy stepped up. That guy was the most Gryffindor dude of all of them. That's
true.
He had the best arc in the entire movie. Him and
true.
Luna Lovegood, I really liked.
I love Luna Lovegood.
Love Luna.
Have you seen her audition?
No.
She's Luna Lovegood in real life. It's like
really
she
funny.
shows up to the audition and she had made her own earrings and stuff made of like peppers and shit. At the audition, they're like, "What are those?" And she's like, "This is what I made."
For the record, I don't know if you guys know this or not. She was on like the second last or third last season of Dancing with the Stars.
Oh no way!
And she is adorable in real life.
I believe it.
And turns out, really good dancer. I think she got like second place.
Oh,
You
wow.
watch Nikki Glazer dancing, the comedian? She's in.
No.
She's a stand-up comic, and she was horrible. She got voted off in the first one. She cried a lot. It was
That's really funny.
anyways.
I love reality TV shows. My girlfriend's got me hooked on them recently.
Oh.
We watch Survivor regularly. Her whole family is committed. All
That's
38
still on,
seasons.
eh?
Buddy, 2 seasons a year. They have like a random lottery where they just pull names and then like you're assigned 4 characters, you're assigned 4 characters, you're assigned 4 characters. It's just like honor bragging rights just to see if your randomly picked person makes it. They have a whole betting thing on who can make it the longest. They're like she could actually win the game if she signed up for it. It's
No
monstrous. Big Brother's a big one that she's in.
These are classics. These are like the OGs of reality TV.
She's been in since day one. But like Survivor, I like because I'm like I like that there's like tension and like struggle and like sometimes you don't eat and that makes people crazy.
Yeah.
I love that.
I
All
don't
right, I'll
know
tell
a
you-
single person that watches this.
There was
show.
one season, Australia, and they like the first challenge is like, you do the challenge, it's exhausting, it runs everybody out, and then they give you a little bit of something to eat. And the reward for everybody was there's a can of cherries and everybody gets 1 cherry. Except there was one black dude and he was like 6'5" and jacked, and he ate 2 cherries. And one guy goes, "I didn't want to say this, but Edward ate 2 cherries." And I was like, "This is insane!"
Because like they've deprived them of everything.
Dignity.
And comfort. Oh, but that's the last thing they take all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you win, there's no more dignity. They clothing, comfort, fire. I think the 3rd or 4th one is they don't give you fire for a while, and then when they do it, it's like they give somebody like the flint or whatever.
Yeah.
Like early on, everyone else struggles, and then eventually they're just like, most people would almost have died, so let's here just you can have it now, kind of a thing, and they weep because now they have like
Yeah,
something to be
it's
warm
cool.
around. 2 seasons ago in Fiji, it rained non-stop to the point where they had to take him off the island because the island got flooded, and they just moved to a brand new island and then dropped him off. And they're like, "Hey, where's their stuff?" He's like, "What stuff?" And they just went away. So they
Yeah.
start from scratch all over
Survivor.
again. Yo, and I love
What do you
watching-
get at the end of this?
$1 million.
If you win,
It's
$1 million
worth
bucks.
it. They give you $1
I
million.
think second place is like 50 grand ish,
Yeah.
maybe.
And they might bring you back for like a later cast, like
So
an all-star
this
team
one,
of
3 people came back. All 3 have done it twice already and lost both times.
Dang.
And like one woman had made it second last, like she was a second place run-up winner. Both times she was in it, and now she got there's a thing called Edge of Extinction now, where if you get kicked off, you have a chance to come back and win your way back on the show, but they're depriving you of even less. You get no food. You have to hunt for yourself. You get a cup a day, and you have to walk up, and it's like a 45-minute struggle up a mountain to get it every day, and then for a chance a week later to like win a competition and get on. And all 8 people who were voted out before they got a chance to come back were like, fuck it, I'm going to survive. And it's a struggle. And they're all yelling at each other. They're all so hungry. And they're all just yelling at each other. Stop breathing. Like, it's just that kind of petty
They
shit.
lose weight.
Like emaciated. And they all came back. And they're like, okay, one of you is going to get a chance to make your way back onto the show. They're like, yeah. So you have to do this 40-minute obstacle course, and everyone fights, and only one dude got on, and he got back on. And everyone cheered, and they were so happy for him. And they're like, okay, the rest of you have to go back, and in 1 week you guys can come back and do this again. All the 7 remaining went on. 3 bailed. They were just like, nope, I'm out. And they like raised the flag, and they got just dropped off. And they don't not even part of like the what do you call it, the
recap
panel? No, the panel, like the judges, the people who get to come back and like watch and see what's happened. They just get booted off.
Oh, they were off the show.
They were because they're put on an island, and they're technically off the show. If they win, they're allowed to back on. Otherwise, you have to wait, and you can just choose to leave if you can't handle that. And like most of them are just like, no, I'm out. I don't want to do another week of struggling for a chance to not get on,
dude.
And the rest who stayed are just like hungry, and
they abuse you, man. That's cool.
They don't even get the extra food. They take those cups away, and they're just like, now there's still now only 4 cups for the 4 remaining. It is the best. I love watching them struggle.
I saw one episode where they were like, hey, whoever wins this competition, you get immunity, and everybody has to hang just.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. That's old,
and they were like, all right.
That's a punishment our parents did. Yeah. Like, oh, what? You didn't read your course?
Oh, yeah. Pakistan. That was my thing. They're like, you raise your hands. And I'm like, I could do this. And like 1 minute into it, I'm like, I can't feel my hands.
At all.
But they do this immunity thing where they're like, all right, if somebody doesn't care about immunity, they can get off now, and we'll give them half a jelly sandwich.
It's like fucked. They literally bring out
and you're like,
the plates of food.
Yeah.
And they sit you down. And it's like this is when they're down to like 8 people, when it's like it really matters. And they're like, listen, you can do this for a chance to make it next week, or look at this food.
And they'll give you something like nice but very basic.
Basic.
Yeah, basic.
The most messed up one I ever saw was when the jelly sandwich, and like, you think it's PB&J. It's like what? It's a combined $5 thing.
Yeah, not even.
These people are just like, they're like, they don't give a shit. Fuck you, Susan! And they just go start eating it because they give them as much as they want. It's like a whole plate or whatever.
Right.
There was nachos, and Probst was like, I had them put on guac and sour cream, and they bring on like buckets of nachos. Yeah. And 2 of the people cried and just got off. It was like one of those. It's another hangout. They got off and they walked over and they just started eating. And people are shocked. Like, there's a chance for $1 million. But I'm like, yo, also, that hunger makes you crazy.
Man.
I love that. But then there's like Big Brother, where it's just like 8 white rich people in a house yelling at each other about petty shit and being like, you lied to me about this. I'm like, no. I want to see those people get skinny and angry.
I want to see you after 20 pounds.
Okay, wait.
There's one team that hasn't won recently. They're losing it. They're losing their mind. It's so, they bicker. Oh man, it's great.
So the concept is you always start off with like 2 teams, and as you know, people get voted off, you eventually become one team, and then it becomes every man for himself, kind of.
Right. Okay. But there's voting off, right?
Yes.
So aren't they just simply voting off the strongest?
So there are tactics.
Yeah.
So Chelsea, for example, my girlfriend says that there's a pattern. They keep the person who is the strongest, biggest, especially the person who gets you food. If you can, but it's also a challenge because people will assume he's strong. He can thrive in the immunity challenges. He can survive in the food challenges. He's a good ally up to a point, and then all the skinny people, all the tiny, like people who can't even lift themselves up, they gang up. They're like, we got rid of him. He's the strongest one, and then they vote him out. And then that's a tactic people have.
So man, I don't like that. I just want the big guy to beat the shit out of all the
When you're in teams,
guys.
you want the biggest guy. You're like, let's keep him on the team so he can win our team challenges, and we'll be the well-fed one.
But once it becomes like
individual,
it's a combined thing where it's now, instead of teams, it's one big team. Now it's literally by yourself. Yo, those guys are out. I think when they actually did that most recently, they merged. They got this dude. He was one of those guys who won almost twice, and he's one of those dudes who like was, like you said, like a strong man who like got food and like made it to the end. He won a bunch of immunities, but like that is like, he's a predator. They're gonna kick him out. And when he lost both times, he didn't make allies. He didn't have anyone to fall back on. And he's like, I put myself in a corner. I got everyone food. What am I supposed to do now? This time, I have never seen a man dance so hard. He's just one of those kind of jockey dudes. He's a very quiet and reserved dude, but he was like gaming hard. He was making allies. He was like, I got us food, only us, no one else. Everyone's, yeah. Then they merge, everyone's cheering. First guy out, him. They fucking blindsided him. They had him eating out of the palm of their hand. They're like, we're going to get out Sai instead. Sai's going to be the one out. They're like, yeah, sure. Meanwhile, Sai has single-handedly gotten everyone to vote this dude out, and he's blindsided, and he's pissed. And like, to be betrayed, especially when you're a provider like that, is like a gut punch to the stomach. And this guy has done it twice. He's gotten like betrayed twice, and when he finally played, it's outwit, outplay, outlast. Okay, he outplayed everyone, but he didn't outwit him. So when he fucking tried, he didn't outlast, and you could see the rage where he has to put his thing in, and you know, he snuffs. Jeff Probst snuffs the flames like this tribe has spoken. And sometimes people turn around and they say something like, "You're all a bunch of fucking cucks," or like, you know, the good game. This guy just strong chest, and he walked out, and then he saw that thing, and he immediately grabbed it. He's like, "I'm gonna come back." And now me and my girlfriend are cheering for him because it's like, that's somebody who was like betrayed. And like, she hates that because she hates it when people like, this is what I live for, is when like the backstabbing, like the Macbeth, the Shakespearean level, like people manipulation. I love that. And my girlfriend's told me these horror stories about how people sometimes, and like, it's like to watch people become the truest selves. It's D&D in real life, okay? It's the game, the campaign is Survivor, and you're a character, and you can play. There's a guy named War Dog who like is like a lawyer, but he really plays up, the army aspect of himself, but he is the weakest, most ineffectual physical player ever, even though he's hyped himself up, and he's carried himself through. But now all these characters, all these people are seeing like the character fall away and seeing the real person behind, and like this, and one woman, this is my favorite story. Chelsea told me this like tiny from the ground up. You talked about Harry Potter Survivor. There's like a Latin woman who like literally came here across the border as a struggle, and she watched Survivor and she loved it, and she got in, and she's apparently like the most Machiavellian, ruthless Tywin Lannister character possible. She purposely took the rice that they had and hid it. She buried it in the island and came back and started a rumor that someone else got rid of or ate all the rice. And these people are starved, okay? And like, this woman is like straight up like from the streets, like she can handle not eating. She knows what the struggle is like. It's Tuesday, I'm fine, you know? And these people have a meltdown, and like that whole alliance that she hated, she was like Littlefinger, she was Baelish. She just murdered a dude and then just put a little rumor and just watched them all collapse in on themselves. And at the final three, when they're just like, how did you outwit? Because they all just think of her as this like, you know, this motherly kind of type, and she's like,
I hit the rice, bitches.
And she's coming out, and these people are just shocked. Their faces are falling apart as this woman's like, actually, I'm the one. And everyone's just like, mother, like, bandejo, this fucking she fucking came out of nowhere, and they're just like, game is the game. Because there are people, like you mentioned, they vote petty, and they're just like, fuck this guy, fuck you, fuck how you betrayed me, fuck everything. And there's some people who are like, I know I'm a very petty person, but if someone outgained me, good for them. I'm voting for that guy who outplayed us all. And they all voted for her. They're like, yo, what are we gonna say? She fucking did it. And she just like, thank you. And she gets $1 million check. And I talked to Chelsea. I'm like, are these people friends afterwards? It's like, yeah, it's communal. It's like it's like war. But there's some people you don't talk to anymore. Like apparently this woman's like, this Hispanic lady is like one of like the top villains of all time. And like, do you want to come back? She's like, no, I'm fine. Like she's gonna be out. She's like, what am I gonna do this for? Immediately. And so like it's I love that aspect of it, and I love the ruthlessness of it. And that's like my favorite thing about like really competitive reality TV shows is like the betrayal or like you know, the backstabbing. Food shows are the best for this because they're just like, where's the extra stick of butter? And it just cuts to some guy and he just like winks to the camera. And it's like in the garbage.
I saw one of those. I was like, this guy's hiding ingredients. Like that is
and it's all on the white. Whenever it's timed, they kind of But like sometimes like I like the camaraderie. Like a new reality TV show I've gone in on, and my girlfriend's made me watch like all 12 seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race, and it's great.
My
It's
girlfriend made
cutthroat.
me watch.
Okay, I have willingly watched after the third season. Okay?
Yeah,
but the first
she
one,
makes you watch the first one. She doesn't
and then-
make you watch the
and then
rest
I'm
of
in
them.
it to win it. All right, and I have watched some of the wildest cutthroat. Just the shade these women say to each other. They call it reading, where they just like it's spontaneous. They'll just turn and just say really mean shit to like try to like get you in like out of a headspace to kind of like throw you off. And I'm like, this is amazing. This is Game of Thrones with costume changes. All they do is they're so mean, and I love it. The competitions are literally just. They get into teams and they just say mean shit, and my girlfriend loves it for the pageantry and like the technical skill that they have to create these. They have like 4 hours to make a whole dress. And a character. I wait for when they like when it's behind the scenes when they're like teamed up and they're just like it's team Jujubee and it's team Kimchi and they're just spinning mean shit at each other. The opposite of that I've converted my girlfriend to is I've watched this amazing show called Forged in Fire. I don't know if you guys have heard this before. Maybe your dad, no joke, your dad will convert it. This guy loves Lord of the Rings and fantasy stuff. The whole show is 3 dudes. There's 3 judges. There's a guy who looks like a knife, a guy who builds knives, and like a racially ambiguous Asian dude who like uses knives. These are judges, and they have a former military dude whose name is Will Wheaton. No joke. It's Will Willis. Sorry, it's
Okay.
It's not Will Wheaton. Like, what the
His
fuck?
name's Will Willis. His name is William Willis. Okay, these guys judge and host a TV show where 4 dudes, 4 dads, okay, are released into a garage, and they're like, you have 3 hours to forge a knife, and that's it. Just these dads scrounge around. They find like a tricycle or like a piece of bar and like a crowbar, and they each get their own little forge. And you talk to them, and these guys are like amateur knife makers. Just these dudes who like they saw it on TV one time. They heard it on YouTube. They got maybe a family friend introduced them, and there's always like a couple of dudes who are like. I lost my friends in Vietnam. I was on the verge of committing suicide. Then my dad bought me a knife making knife making kit, and I've been making knives for 40 years. And I'm like, Jesus, it's like therapy for some people. And they will literally forge with hammers. It's always a hipster, a dude from Orangeville, like a drunk uncle, and like a forest man. This guy who just have twigs still in his hair, and they build knives. And there's weapons and fire all over the place, and these judges are just chirping these guys the entire time. And I expect at any point this is the most testosterone laden situation I could possibly imagine. These men who are being men just forging steel into knives that they'll use to actually like stab and puncture and like try to break to see how
because you gotta test it, right?
They test the shit out of these things. They have like they put them like there's chopping things where they have like actual like dead carcasses to see if this knife is strong enough. Do a chop test to see they throw them to see if they'll stick. It's this whole thing. They have battering rams where they beat the shit to see if it was forged strong enough. And sometimes you see these guys cry as they hit it and the knife breaks, and all this power that you spent putting in to make the steel and it's just these like 50-year-old dudes who haven't cried ever. All their parents are dead, but their knife breaks like a tear goes down. And it's the realest thing. And I'm expecting these guys to be assholes, to be like men. They are the kindest, most supportive. There's $50,000 on the line for the person who can make the best knife. And they're at one point, there are 3 dudes around giving pointers, like just dads being dads. Another dude being like, actually, son, if you put a little bit more wine out, use a little flux, just hammer it out. Don't pull it out too hard. Use the big blue. And it's like this big power hammer. And I'm like, what? You're all holding knives. I've watched 50 episodes and no one's been stabbed. People,
I love
at one point, someone will be like, not only did I forge a knife today, but I also forged a friendship. It's so cute and I love it. Oh my God. Forged in Fire, please go. I love it.
Forged in Fire. Holy crap.
All right, we gotta wrap this business
Oh,
up.
yeah.
You spoke so much.
Yeah, this is the first time.
That I am out of breath. I am out of breath.
I'm looking at the equalizer and like, I think Hisham talked the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to.
No, that was fantastic.
That was awesome.
That was great. And a glowing recommendation for D&D.
Oh my God!
I think we would be honored to try it with you.
I need one more person, and then I'll do a halal friendly D&D session. Okay.
What does that mean?
Actually, it's gonna be haram as fuck. You guys want to be all chaotic evil? I'm gonna make you do the evilest stuff possible. I just want to see
to that.
guys fall apart. But yeah, if at any point you have any D&D questions, feel free to reach out on Instagram or Twitter.
Man.
I will be more than happy.
What's your
Also,
Instagram?
Despite the fact that he's also a DM, but he's also a stand-up comedian.
Yes,
True.
Yes.
So you
yes,
also
please.
do that too.
Oh yeah, all the time. At any point, if you guys want to talk about stand up too, send me a message, guys. No complaints.
How do the people find you?
Yeah.
On Twitter and Instagram, my handle is at Hisham Kelati, Hisham Kelati. Follow me on both. I'm active on there.
Yeah.
You can always reach out on Facebook too.
For sure.
But yeah.
Yeah. Follow him on Instagram. Find out where he's going to be out in the city.
Please,
go
yeah.
watch him. He is hilarious, hilarious. One last thing. I wanted to call you. I was so impressed with this. So this is the closing thought. Is that you were workshopping new ideas the night that our man over here won first place.
Yes. Okay. I'm just this guy won first place in a comedy ball comedy competition.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of him.
Yeah,
Best
awesome.
story I've ever seen. This guy's super pumped. He has his phone out to tape himself. He wants to win maybe top fourth, third, second. Alhamdulillah. Those are great.
Yeah.
You advanced. You're super proud. Fourth, it's not him. Third, it's not him. Two, it's not him. His whole table's all sad. Everyone's all bummed out. He's taping this. He's super excited. He just wanted to be a little video, but he put it away after second because he's like, I'm not gonna win. And first place, they say Cyrus, and everyone just loses it. Yeah. And he's just like, looking for his phone. I watched it all from the back. I cannot stop laughing.
I found the video just this week, and I was like, I actually have this video.
Yeah.
And you can hear him like, I didn't make it. Click. That too.
You have to post that. Yeah. It was
What
good
I
night.
wanted to say is that even when you're workshopping the ideas, freaking fantastic.
I appreciate
it. Was
that. I appreciate
awesome.
that.
Yeah, it was
really
very good. It was very
appreciate
good.
it.
So
Very,
like, no matter what night you catch Hisham on, he is on. Trust me, it's going to be worth the trip.
I'll make it worth your money always. Always.
For
Thank
sure.
you guys so much.
All right, man. Thanks for hanging out. People, take care of yourselves. We'll be back in a week. Good night.